everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and it's time for another deck list from the Breakthrough set. There are a few proxies still in here, I've not got my hands on the cards just yet, but if you listen to the full set review, if not, check it out. But I did mention that Gallade was one of my favourite cards, and it did feature in the top 10 as well, so I thought that I would profile why I feel Gallade is so good, and in a deck where I feel he really complements the rest of the cards. So this is going to be Yveltal Gallade. So I hope you all enjoy this. We know that Maxie's works with Archeops in the expanded format right now. So we've tried to build a very similar list, but this time utilizing Gallade. So let's get into it. We are playing 3 non-EX Yveltal. Non-EX Yveltal is very helpful. Oblivion Wing, doing some chip damage to other things, and at the same time we're accelerating energy from the discard pile. This deck, as we all know, uses a compressor engine, so we can dump energies along the way quite happily. Also, just in the process of trying to get that Gallade out, we can sometimes discard energy, so having the ability to recycle is really nice, and it just helps set up your EXs that we play. So Yveltal overall, a really nice starter for the deck, more than anything else. Next up, we are playing 3 Yveltal EX. Still a super strong card. It is threatened by the new Magnezone deck. Also, it's of course threatened by Manectric, but you know, it's still a very good attacker in most other situations. The Mewtwo EX, the Mega that's coming out, this can really do well against it because Y-Cyclone moves the energy around your board, so they have to keep committing to the Mewtwo. And as soon as they start committing, you can come in with Evil Ball. Also, Yveltal does very nicely against Giratina for the most part. So, overall, I feel like it has decent matchups around most things right now. You do have to sort of worry about... Oh, it's also really good against Lucario because of resistance and stuff like that. So, yeah, it has decent matchups overall. And the Gallade is going to help us out in the slightly dodgier ones, namely the Lightning decks. So, 3 of those, mainly our main attacker. We are then using 2 Gallade. Gallade is one of my favourite cards. I keep saying it. I just love seeing this card. It's so cool. It's a fighting type stage 2, so we're trying to Maxie's into it, of course. 150 HP is pretty big. It takes a couple of hits from stuff like Manectric, stuff like Giratina. Even Raikou, it struggles to get the one shot unless it really commits to it. So normally this guy's going to stick around for more than one turn. And in like the meantime, like your opponent, you can always use this as a Y-Cyclone target because it uses double colorless for its attack. Also, we have DCs in the deck to just simply attach and start running with this guy. But for the most part, we're using his ability Premonition to keep us ticking over throughout the game. That's another thing that I really like about this card. It just makes this deck so much more consistent. You get into your outs so much easier. You find those VS Seekers for Lysandres. You find your DCEs. You just don't miss things thanks to this Premonition. It's what I really love. So you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and rearrange them as you like. We are playing stuff like Unown and Acro Bike in here, and also Tierno. So we can see something good, and then we can just draw straight into it pretty much. So Gallade, very helpful. Absolutely amazing card. And this second, its only attack, I guess, Sensitive Blade, really awesome. Obviously, it's a Manectric and Mega Manectric killer. It does 60 base and 70 more if you played a supporter. And trust me, you guys, you will not be missing beats with Gallade in play because Premonition makes it so easy. So assume it's basically just base 130 for DCE. Hitting for weakness against, you know, Magnezone, Raikou, and of course Mega Man. So this is doing big numbers for a non-EX. So also it's a good non-EX, of course, to hit through stuff like Regice. Something that Yveltal could otherwise struggle with. I mean, we do have the baby Yveltal, but it doesn't really like facing up Regice because it can like rough seize off the damage and stuff. But Gallade really doesn't care about any of that stuff. So absolutely awesome card. Pick up some of these because they're going to be good. And regionals, I want to play this deck basically. I might tinker around with it, but overall I want to play with Gallade in some respect at one of these regionals coming up, just to sort of prove a point why I love this guy. Next up, we are playing 2 Shaymins. Yes, they do have to be full art. Just setting up, you know. Trying to get that turn 1 Maxes. Sometimes you can Ultra Ball to lower the hand. If you still don't have the right combination, you might set yourself back up to 6 to try and sort of gain the combination to get back down to 1. Sometimes that can work. we have quite a few cards that can insta-play, quite a few cards that can get rid of other cards as well. So Shaymin very helpful for trying to find that early turn pressure. Also, again, combining with Gallade, if you search something that you really need that turn, you can drop Shaymin, even if it's for just 1 or 2 cards. It can be those 1 or 2 that you really need. So Shaymin, very helpful there. Finally, for Pokemon, we are playing the 4 Unown. In the early game, it's a instant -1 from the hand to help you get your Maxies off. Also, if you don't have the right combo, you can just use Farewell Letter to try and test your odds by drawing a new card. Maybe you get into that Ultra Ball or something else like Battle Compressor that you really need to get your combo working, so that's excellent. And then once we have the Gallade online, these Unowns just become so much more powerful. With Gallade, you can look at the top 5. So Unown is basically drawing from one of the top 5 of your deck, like a mini search card. It's pretty good. It's almost like a Trainer's Mail, but it's slightly stronger because it can be any cards. So these Unowns get really, really powerful. So maxing this guy out is going to round out the Pokemon. Pretty weird line of Pokemon overall. But for me, right now, it's been working quite nicely. So pretty good stuff there. Next up for trainers, again, it's really a strange build. We're trying to get these consistent Maxies as often as possible. So we are playing 2 maintenance, shuffle 2 in, draw 1, lowering cards from our hand that we can't use, like maybe put away 2 supporters that we have no way of discarding or getting out of the hand, so that we draw a random card, sort of take our chances. We do have a lot of insta-plays in here, so oftentimes this maintenance is going to be pretty clutch when we find it. Couple of Acro Bike. We don't mind seeing it in the early turns pretty much, and again it combos with Gallade to get the cards that we want. We have to be kind of careful. We have to make sure that one of those 2 top slots are ones that we are happy to get rid of. Otherwise we can waste our Acro Bikes if we just go, okay, I want the best card on top, second best, you want to time your Acro Bikes correctly with Gallade, but it's still very, very powerful. It's almost like another Unown in the deck. 4 Trainer's Mail. Again, when you have Premonition on your side, Trainer's Mail becomes so strong. You can hold them for when you know you can get value out of it, basically. And in the early turns, it's going to completely help your Maxie. Like, I love seeing Trainer's Mail in my opening hand, trying to get that Maxie off, because it can get you into Compressors, Ultra Balls, VS Seekers, all of these things. So Trainer's Mail, absolutely clutch. Probably one of the best cards we have in the deck, pretty much. Always happy to see that card, basically. Next for Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball as well. It's one of these that's absolutely amazing. Helps you find, Shaymin's Unowns, your Yveltal pieces, of course, but it's mainly about the discard, getting your hand low enough to get that Maxie going, so that's pretty awesome as well. We're playing the 4 Compressor. The deck obviously needs this. You can put Darks in there, you can put supporters in there, namely your Maxies. You can obviously put Gallades in there straight away, so this is another one you really want to see, so we got to max this out as well. Then we are playing Maximum VS Seekers as well. We're just going super consistent, nothing really to say. You want to hit these so that you can get the Maxies going as early as possible. And in the mid to late game, you want to search out your Tierno to keep yourself drawing. You want to get Hex Maniac or whatever else we're playing in here, Lysandres, of course, so VS Seeker, very, very helpful. So we are utilising the new float stones as well. There's not too many things that catch a targets, These are kind of chunky in the early turns, so it's something good that, again, it's an insta-play card. If we start with an Unown or a Shaymin, we can just get these out of the way for something better, so that's pretty good. Also, the Gallade has a 2 retreat cost, so you can either attach just to attack or attach to move out of the way, so Floatstone, kind of useful. Again, it's just an insta drop card, so why not play it really for good utility. 2 Muscle Band as well. Muscle Band helps out our output really. Not that this deck really needs the huge buff of output, it just does make Evil Ball knockouts a bit more realistic, and those Wise Cyclones become painful to 2-shot even Mega EXs, so that's very, very nice as well. So seeing these Muscle Bands is also good. We can't play many more because it starts getting cloggy, and you'll just really hate yourself if you could get a Maxie's, but no, you can't because all your Pokemon already have tools on them. So yeah, you want to only play a lowish count of Muscle Band, but it's obviously very helpful. So Tierno is the supporter that I've chosen. I've chosen this over like a Shauna or a Birch for like my one draw card that's not a discarding card, so it's not a Sycamore basically. Because Premonition makes this so much stronger, we can be like, oh, here's the top 5. Okay, let's get the ones that we actually need this turn. So Tierno, very, very nice in this deck. We do play one Hex Maniac as well. Hex Maniac, again, it's going to help us out against like Magnezone, help us out against Metal decks. You know, anything that's using abilities, really. There's quite a few things in format right now, so Hex Maniac as well is a pretty nice inclusion in here. Then we have 2 Lysandre. Again, pretty important cards, picking off the things that we need, helping us kill a Shaymin. Oftentimes, Gallade is great for finishing off Shaymins. It hits 130, which is perfect numbers, even with the resistance. So, Gallade is a fantastic Shaymin EX killer, so there should be so many easy ways to just finish off games with this dude, so pretty awesome. Next up, we are playing 2 Maxies. I think 2 is the right number. I could even go up to 3 just by how clutch Gallade is. But this deck can get by sort of waiting a turn or 2 to get the Gallade going. But obviously 2 is nice. It means we can happily dump one with Compressor. We keep one in deck just in case we draw into it as well. So it's pretty nice overall. Obviously we need it for Gallade, so pretty important card, I would say. So a couple of those in there. Finally, 3 Sycamore. It's still our most powerful draw supporter we have available. Dump and draw. Yeah, pretty good stuff. If we need to dig for things, we have Sycamore. Finally, we have the new stadium. We are playing 1 Parallel City. Honestly, I just like having 1 stadium in here. The Parallel City is really good. It means we can get rid of Shaymins that we've benched if we want to lower our own bench size like that. Or, of course, we can lower our opponent's bench size to make it difficult for, you know, Raichu, Rayquaza, anything really that really sets up their bench. Bronzong decks really dislike it. Definitely if you Lysandre up Shaymin and then drop the city, it's really, really painful. So I think this is a really good card to have in your deck. And seeing as though Yveltal doesn't really require a stadium to completely function, this could be, you know, one Shadow Circle if you're really worried about the lightning types, but that's why we've got Gallade in here basically. So I thought I wanted to test out Parallel City. So far it's been very, very powerful and pretty painful as well. So also it's pretty good if you could just reduce the damage from stuff like Seismitoad by 20, because really we don't need much bench space. We've got the Gallade, we just need like these in play. All of these are extras we can just completely get rid of. We don't need them, so you don't mind locking it for yourself to lower the output of stuff like Houndoom, stuff like Vespiquen, and stuff like Toad. So being able to reduce that output from Parallel City is still a good option because you don't mind having the low bench, like I say. So Parallel City works in, you know, whichever way you face it, it's going to be helpful for you in most matchups. So it's a very nice one-of in here. The reason why I don't play more, pretty simple. I don't want to be stuck with Parallel Cities in hand. I guess I could go up to 2 if it starts being super clutch for me. For now, it's a pretty handy thing. Like I say, it gets rid of Shaymin, so they don't just have a catch a target on their head all game. And it's handy when you need to reduce damage from, you know, grass, fire, or water types. And again, so many reasons why Parallel City is good, but I don't feel like if you fool them once with it, you're not going to really catch them out again. They'll be sort of aware of it. So 1 Parallel City, in my opinion, is enough. Finally, for energy, we're playing quite a few in here. We are playing the 4 DCE. Works amazingly with the Y-Cyclone. Obviously works with Gallade as well. So maxing this out makes a lot of sense. And then we are playing 8 Dark Energy. Quite a high count. Obviously, bear in mind, we don't have the Dark patch that they have in Expanded. So a lot of people are getting away with just 7 or sometimes even 6 Dark Energy. We can't really do that. Our accelerator comes from here. So if we are being hammered away, we can still use this guy. But obviously we want to move on to the EX at some point, who is fairly efficient at retaining energy with the Y-Cyclone. But if we're getting hammered away, you know, we want to use this guy when we have to. So 8 is plenty. It's kind of just to get into it as much as possible, really. Make sure we keep seeing it. We can happily discard a few on the way because we're using these Maxies, and we don't have to worry about running out of energy overall. So 12 energy, you know, that's going to sit you for a game. You can really stack up big Yveltals and still be fine, basically. And yeah, that is the list. I hope you enjoyed, guys. I hope you all agree that Gallade is such a good card. If you've not tested out Gallade yet, please make this deck. The Premonition is such a strong ability, one of the strongest ones you've seen in a while. And it's so easy to get this guy set up. He's a beast of an attacker as well. the awesome Shaymin killer. Also, he's great at helping your weakness for Yveltal, so it's just the perfect partner for him, really. So that's the list. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about the list and Gallade in general. So it's been Joe from OmniPoke, and I'll be seeing you soon with more breakthrough deck lists. See you later.